one of my good friends who I know from my computing days is Sarah, and Ivan is Sarah's husband. So that's how I know him.
I'm guiding you into trance, and it's just deep relaxation. That's all it is. And deep relaxation, if you've ever fallen asleep on a Sunday afternoon in front of the TV, but you can still hear the film going on, that's what hypnosis is. So you'll kind of know that you're you, but you'll sort of know something else is going on as well. And it all comes from your subconscious. So the subconscious is, we have the conscious mind that is the kind of the iceberg that's sticking out of the water. And then underneath is the bit that sunk the Titanic. That's the subconscious. And if we can quieten down the conscious mind, which is, I'm going to be late, what shall I wear, all those sorts of things. When we quieten that down, so very much like meditation, if anyone's ever done meditation, we're just quietening that down so that we can talk to the subconscious. The subconscious takes on direction much easier. So we can guide it and ask it questions. And theoretically, past life is either what some people...
Can't you influence it through your suggestions, though?
You can influence it, which is why... if you are, so that's why we go back to if you have any issues. So if you have any personality issues, we don't do that because you can influence it. And also how you word things in the subconscious is very important. So we keep the language clean. So I don't go, are you a man? I sort of say, and what, look at yourself in the mirror. What do you look like? I'm not influencing you in any way.
Oh, okay.
Just guiding you and sort of prodding you. So I'll ask you some questions. Because your subconscious, the subconscious can't lie. It's very weird. The subconscious has no way of lying. It's very honest. So whatever questions.
Aren't you ever worried about what you may wake up in someone?
No, because I'm very careful to close the door and make sure that you're safe when you leave. Yeah. So what we do is we go through a door and you know that it's always there and you can come out when you want to. And when we come out, we close the door. So when you see these programs with young children who are sort of having dreams of like lives that they must have had or people that they used to be, it's because in a funny sort of way, when they were born, that door wasn't shut properly, and it's just things seep out of the subconscious. So when somebody's feeling okay about life, but somehow they've got like a stomach ulcer and they're feeling really, that's their subconscious going, something's going on, something's not right. I'm feeling not happy. You might be happy here, which is why we quieten that down so that we can get to the subconscious and work on it. And that's why, you go to a trained hypnotherapist, because there's a lot of people who go, oh yeah, I've done a weekend and I'm a hypnotherapist. I suppose the clue is in the title, hypnotherapist. So hypnosis is the art of being put into trance. Hypnotherapy is what we do when you're in that trance. And so when you see a TV program and somebody's barking like a dog and running around like a chicken, that's not hypnotherapy. That's a hypnotic trance, and they look for very specific people who will go down very quickly and who will be very suggestible. But the secret to that is everybody is always doing something that they want to do. You might think they're not, but I would not be able to make you do that if you didn't want to. Hypnosis is actually very safe. So if I put you in a trance and I sort of say, say for instance, you come to me to stop smoking, and I've asked all the questions, you don't have a personality disorder, and I say to you, I'd like you to sort of get on a train and go into London and kill Barack Obama or whoever's here over the weekend, you would wake up, because that doesn't fit your moral code. And your subconscious brain will go, well, I'm here to stop smoking. What's you talking about? If there was a fire and I was a coward and I ran out, you wouldn't be sitting here in a trance, kind of being burnt to a crisp. You would wake up, because your brain only ever does anything to keep you safe. So that's why we have, phobias and fetishes and all those things, because the brain isn't logical. It does things to keep itself safe. So it will wake itself up, or it will, sort of think, I'm having that feeling with that. So
I only get burnt on the right-hand side.
Yeah. So have you got any other questions?
No.
Okay. Feel comfortable with me?
Yeah.
So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take you down into a deep trance. And then I'm going to ask you to look at a past life. No, not
Too
many
many
people
years
ask
ago.
me. Yeah, well, not many people ask me. Interestingly, it's always the men that ask all the very, very no, not awkward, more kind of critical questions. Women flow a bit more, and they just go, yeah, yeah, whatever. And the men
It's
are like, I
always
want to know how it works.
it's always fascinated me
Yeah,
the fact that you don't know what you're waking up. Like on the
Yeah.
form, have you got a split personality? I may not have,
Yeah.
but what could you be waking up in me,
Yeah.
in someone else,
yeah.
that all of a sudden makes you go, oh, hold on a
There
minute.
are a lot of medical case studies, and I don't know of that many where it's all gone up, shall we say. It's, you know, it's mostly memories. And then if you bring up a memory that, like, say for instance, I take you back and you're on a battlefield or something, and you're dissociated it from it because you're kind of there, but you're looking at it from your eyes here. So you know that you're Fred, and you know that you're on this battlefield, but you're dissociated. And sometimes people have emotion because they're experiencing it again, but it's a different type of emotion.
Yeah.
And as soon as I bring you out, it dissipates. It's dissociated. So it's almost like you're watching it on a screen in a way. Some people are really in stuff and they can really feel things. Some people are more distant and sort of observing. But the whole point of the hypnotherapy is that if I do wake up something, we deal with it. And if you do wake something up, it means that your subconscious wanted to go there anyway and look at it.
And the other thing is how much of it is, because we've all got moments in time.
Yeah.
An era I'd like to go back to, purely because of films and when you read about lifestyles, is when men used to wear suits and hats and things like that.
Yeah.
So the sort of 40s, the 50s. So how much of that is my mind wanting to take me there during hypnosis? And it's not a real previous life.
Okay, that's very interesting. That's a really interesting subject. So my very first hypnotic experience for myself, I've always been absolutely mental about the medieval period. I watched every medieval film going. I loved the clothes. I was in a reenactment group. In fact, this was before I joined a reenactment group. And I went for past life regression and I went to the medieval period. And when I came out, I was like, no, there's a surprise. If I was very dubious, I sort of said to him, and it felt very real. And I said to the guy who was really well known in his field, he used to go to America and do all of this. So he was quite very specifically for past life regression. And I said, if I could have gone anywhere, I would have gone back to the medieval period and I wouldn't have been poor. I would have had a castle. I wasn't super rich, but it was like a small castle. And he said, but why are you interested in that period? There is a theory that people who are obsessed or interested in a certain period, that's because they've been there before and it's a feeling of comfort and understanding.
Oh.
I know that. So I'm drawn to that because I've probably been there or I've experienced it. It's in my genetic makeup. It's in my memory, my DNA memory. So yes, there is an element that some people could make things up, but like I said, the subconscious doesn't lie. So the only time that we have someone really making something up is if they have personality disorders, because they are already in an altered state of mind anyway, because they have voices or whatever. So it doesn't make sense to regress those people. But someone who's like clearly fairly normal, then you're going to not be able to kind of lie to you.
You just made a friend for life.
And also you can see body language and stuff. Quite often you see people, if you sort of say look around you, you can see their eyes sort of looking around in their sockets. You can see body language. Some people sniff. So they're really there. They're not making that bit up. And there are certain things that you can't make up, like to smile or to frown or whatever, or to sweat. Those things are very natural things to do. So unless you're a super great actor and you can act when you're in a trance, it's very difficult to kind of make those things up. So you're drawn to that period, are you? The sort of 40s?
It's just a nicer time when people are nicer to one another.
Yeah.
Because I think there's lots of things we're getting wrong.
Yeah.
It was a nicer time.
Sometimes you can word it and say, if someone comes to you and they're like really obsessed by a time period, you can try and regress them back to that time period. It's up to you, because you might naturally go there. We could just see what happens and see where your subconscious wants to go. But if you specifically want me to look at
nothing specific.
Okay.
No,
should we just see where you go?
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. So all it is just a little bit of relaxation, and then just you know, my voice is a guide.
Yeah.
Are you feeling okay and happy about that?
Yep.
Do you want to move your glasses case so you're nice and comfortable?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, because that might fall off when you're...
That's all right.
Okay, might wake you up. Okay, just saying.
I feel like being told off, is it?
No, I wasn't telling you off. No, do you know what it is? I don't want to, if you move and it falls, it might sort of wake you up, that's all.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Okay. So you just need to take a nice deep breath. And when you're ready, you can just close your eyes whenever you're ready. When
That's
you're
one
happy.
thing I have trouble with, closing my eyes.
Okay. The reason we ask someone to close their eyes is because we have external stimulation going on here. So there's a lot of things like movement, lights, all that kind of stuff. And the reason we ask someone to close their eyes is it's an easier way to go into your imagination and into your mind.
Ivan's quite a strong character, a strong male, and I suspect that really strong personalities suffer with surrendering.
But if you want to keep your eyes open, you can. We could experiment. People have done in the past.
Can do. I have an issue. No, I'll close them, but I have an issue with
Why don't you just
trust.
sit there? Okay, so why don't you just sit there? Let me talk you through, and your eyes might naturally close when they want to. Okay, so what I would ask you to do, rather than looking around, I would ask you to find a spot just slightly above your eye level, and just a spot that you can, like the corner of the room, something that is very slightly above your eye level, and just focus on that. Okay. And I can talk to you, and then your eyes can naturally close when you're ready. Okay. So just indicate to me by lifting your hand if you can see or imagine the steps. Are you seeing steps?
No.
No. Okay. What can you see?
Nothing. I feel relaxed in my mind, but I'm not actually seeing anything.
Okay. Did you see the word relax in your head?
No.
So are you a visual person in general?
No, I don't. It's like reading books where people can build pictures of the scene. I literally read the words.
Okay.
Ivan was an interesting case because he doesn't really think in images, which a few people are like that, and I have come across that.
So if I was to say, think about your kitchen, do you see your kitchen in your mind?
I can plan it out, yeah.
You can plan it out?
Yeah.
So when you say you can plan it out, are you seeing it like a picture in your head, or you just know what it looks like?
I know what it looks like.
Okay. So when you're looking up at that wall, are your eyes sort of blurred? You know when you're sort of daydreaming and your eyes sort of glaze over?
Yeah, but that's only peripheral vision.
Okay.
That's blurred.
Right. Okay. So you can see it quite clearly then?
What I'm looking at is clear, yeah.
Okay. Could we try something else? Okay. I'm going to have to get up just to get him into this, if that's all right. Sorry, guys. Let's try something else. Okay. So, I know that you're not keen on closing your eyes, but I would like you to just open and close your eyes a little bit as I ask you to, if that's all right. Okay. So can you just focus on my hand there? That's great. And then just close your eyes. That's great. And then just open and follow my hand. That's it. And then just close your eyes. And then open and follow my hand. Perfect. And then just close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you let that breath out, I'd like you to open your eyes and follow my hand again. Close your eyes. Nice deep breath. How do you feel there? Are you happy to leave your eyes shut, or would you prefer to open them?
No, I can leave them shut. I just to give it a go.
Okay. As long as you feel okay. We're just going to do it a couple more times because I just want to get you a bit deeper. Okay, so open your eyes, and then just follow my hand, and then close them again. And then open and close. Okay, open And close. Can you focus on that wall over there, that corner?
Mhm.
That's great. Close your eyes again. And then open and just focus. Is it slightly above your eye line? Yeah. And
Yeah.
just close again. Nice deep breath. And as you open your eyes, just follow my hand again. And close. Open. Open. And close. Okay. And then your eyelids starting to feel a bit heavier now.
No.
Okay. Are you feeling comfortable?
Yeah, relaxed.
Can I just tap on your inner that one wrist?
Yeah.
No, do you mind? Just close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. As you let that breath out, just get into that breathing again. So in and out, in and out, just nice and gentle. Are you feeling deeper and deeper? More relaxed?
No.
You're fighting it, aren't you?
I don't
Subconsciously.
feel like I'm
no,
fighting
you're
it.
doing it subconsciously.
Okay.
I don't think you like letting go. You're quite a controlled person, aren't you?
I don't like being, and I don't mean this in any
You don't
way.
like being
You
touched.
don't like being touched by
Oh,
strangers.
sorry.
No, no,
if
no,
I
no, no.
upset you. Okay.
No,
That's
no,
why
no.
I always ask.
No, no.
That's
For
why I always
say like
ask.
when
Yeah.
people go for massages and things
Oh,
like that,
right, yeah.
I'm like, no,
Yeah. You like to be contained. Yeah, okay. Is this bothering you?
no.
Okay. So just take a nice deep breath. We're going to try one more time. You know, it is what it is. Some people let go, some people don't. Okay, I'm just going to let your hand rest there. That's perfect. Just take some nice deep breaths in for me and out for me. Okay. We're going to try one more time and let's just see how we go, because your subconscious might just not want to go there. But we're going to allow your subconscious to make that decision, because we don't tell you what to do. We don't tell your subconscious what to do. It's up to you. So I'd just like you to take some more deep breaths, go into that relaxation once more. And I know that it's very difficult for you to visualize something. So just in your mind, plan it out. Just, you know, as if you were planning out your kitchen, just plan out some steps that you quite fancy walking down. Anything that you want, you can make them whatever you want. And you don't have to be visual about it. You can just know what they feel like. You can just know what they look like. There can be some steps that you've walked down before. And if they're in your mind's eye now, just let me know.
Not really, no.
Okay.
It is very difficult to get someone to go into past life regression without visualization. That's really the classic way of taking someone into past life regression, because you want them to see that past life. You want them to see what they're wearing. You want them to see their surroundings. So it's very, very difficult when someone doesn't see images in their mind.
So what are you actually seeing? Is it just completely blank?
Yeah, there's nothing. I've seen brick steps, old stone steps,
Okay.
building steps.
Okay. How about if I were to ask you to feel like you're lifting up, sort of almost a bit like you're lighter. Do you do that? Can you feel that? Like you're getting lighter and lighter? Almost like you're floating?
No.
No? What hobbies do you have? Can you swim? Do you like swimming? What would you like to do to relax normally?
Not be at work.
Not be at work. So when you're not at work, what do you do?
Working.
Okay. So you don't relax?
No, I do. Sit down.
Okay. Sit down.
Occasionally, yeah.
Okay. Do you watch TV?
No, it's
Okay.
terrible on TV.
Okay. So what do you do when you're just sitting down?
I don't really sit down. There's normally things we need to do, get done.
Okay. So if you want to switch off, if you're feeling a bit stressed about something, how do you switch off?
I normally go down the garage, beat the workbench up with a hammer. That gets rid of the stress.
Okay. In your head, can you beat something up with your hammer then? just beat up your resistance. I want you to think of a big word called resistance, and I want to put that on your workbench, and I want you to smash it to pieces. And you don't have to see it, you can just know that you're doing it. Smash up that big word. You know those really awful, no offense if you've got one, those those signs that you get like bath or kitchen, you know, people used to have those. And it looks like that. It's a big sign that says resistance, and I want you to hit it with your hammer and smash it up. Is that working for you?
No.
Okay. Can you just come back to me now and just open up your eyes? Okay. Do you want to try some more, or are you just not
Entirely
feeling
up
it?
to you.
Well, it's up to you.
I feel relaxed.
Yeah. I'm not sure this is going to work.
He was very relaxed. He seemed to be responding to the relaxation and the taking him deep into the trance, but he just couldn't see the door to open it up. He just couldn't get there. And I think he was a little frustrated, but he works in construction, I understand, and he's very left-brained. And you do tend to find that people who think that way are more, not everyone, but are more likely to struggle in the visualization. So, you know, people who are very, very creative and are very used to that visualization thing, people who already meditate, find it easier to go through that process. So he did struggle. He was quite an interesting subject, because we can't always get someone back into a past life, and that's part of it. It's not a guaranteed thing, and that's what's quite interesting about working with different people.
Just because somebody doesn't get hypnotized or doesn't surrender to hypnosis, it doesn't mean that they're not trying. It doesn't make them a bad subject. It doesn't mean that... all it means is that we couldn't hypnotize them. Nothing more than that. But in the case of myself, I'm so desperate to be hypnotized and experience a apparent past life, but it just doesn't happen. I can't surrender into it. I try really hard. I've tried to be hypnotized on 3 separate occasions. On both occasions it was with professional hypnotists, one of whom was Angelina. That was the last attempt, and I very nearly went under hypnosis the first time I did it, and probably the second time, but I seemed to snap out of it, and I think that I was just resisting it, or I just wouldn't surrender to it, if you like. That's what I think the issue is.
I have found that men can be trickier than women to regress, and that's nothing. There's nothing wrong with men. I think that men are just in general taught to be a bit more controlled sometimes. I think in some situations they don't let go that easily. Their brain is keeping them safe, and so they don't let go enough to go into a deep trance. I think a lot of men think differently, as in quite a few with the work that they do, they're very left-brained, very logical thinking. So they're questioning it already. Well, why am I supposed to be doing this? Why is that sort of working? And this is all on a subconscious level. But I have, I have had very, very successful past life readings with men. So it's not just men can't be, visual. That's not the case. But I have noticed that it does seem to be men that struggle more.
I heard it on the radio that most people, when they think of something or think of somebody, then they get an image in their head, and they see that image. So if you think of a banana, then in your head you have an image of a banana. And I don't think that happens to me. There is actually a clinical definition called aphantasia or something like that, and I've never been diagnosed, but I just don't think I'm visual. I could never draw, and I suspect it's part of the same issue. And I'm not even sure that I visualise during my dreams. I've just recently tried to, when I wake up, remember whether I'm seeing pictures in my dreams or not. I'm definitely dreaming, but whether I'm seeing images or not is another matter.
What I loved about Ivan's session is that it had never occurred to me that people don't necessarily think in images. My dad is not a very visual person. I've always understood that. I've always known that. But it never occurred to me that if you can't see an image in your mind, it would be very challenging to use visualization to guide them through to discovering a past life.
My suspicion is, and we haven't done enough hypnotic sessions yet to prove or disprove this, but my suspicion is that men find it much more difficult than women to relax and surrender into hypnosis. Maybe it's something about control, I don't know. But that's what I think the issue was with Ivan. I think he just didn't surrender into it. He certainly relaxed, but he didn't give way to it.
Because I've tried everything. So I've tried, if somebody's not visual, then you try and get them to feel it or sense it, or you use different modalities, and you don't seem to be doing any of those.
No, your voice is very relaxing, and actually it's like I'm all warm, cozy. Just
yeah.
If this was a time to relax,
Okay.
I'm relaxed.
Perfect. I was trying it all. I sense that as someone who doesn't like to kind of let go, I sense that your subconscious doesn't really want to do this, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And it's no reflection on you or I or me. It's just the way it is. Some people do and some people don't.
Yeah.
It might even be that you're such a contained person that you don't really have a past life that your subconscious needs to go back to. Not everybody wants to experience that. Not everyone needs to.
I was telling someone yesterday that I was going to do this, and they said, I can't believe you are. And I said, which friend Nigel asked. I said, so I am intrigued by it. And he said, so what happens if you go back to something? And I said, for me in present day, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What's gone in the past is in the past.
So that's the
At
answer.
the moment, I'm here and now.
Yeah.
I've got things I need to do and pay.
Okay. So I would suggest that is probably what the issue is. Not that it's an issue, because it's not an issue. But if you believe that, then your subconscious believes that. It's like you don't need to do that. You don't need to do it.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's not a necessity for you. You're quite a pragmatic person. Like you said, now is now. Why do you need to go back? So some people, it's literally, they're obsessed with the time period. Some people, it's like, oh, it's quite interesting. Oh, if you feel that it's like, well, what's the past is the past, I think you've answered it.
Okay.
I'm very sorry that I can't get you there.
No,
but
thank you for relaxing me.
I just feel like there's no point in pushing it, because I don't feel like it's resistance as in there's several types of resistance, and some resistance is like I'm a bit fearful, I don't want to go there, what happens if I meet something horrible? I don't sense that off you. I just sense that it's like, I don't need to go there. That's what I get off you.
With Ivan, I understand that he had said feedback was that he'd been relaxed the whole evening, and certainly in the session he was relaxing. He was taking the relaxation part, but just couldn't go back, couldn't go into a past life. So there could be many reasons. It could have been his subconscious, keeping him safe. It could have been that he just didn't want to let go. But the relaxation part of it was actually working. So it wasn't that hypnotherapy necessarily wasn't working on him. It could literally just be that he couldn't visualise going back. That was all.